Hello class. Alright, we're going to go through the assignment, the servo motor here, a full tutorial of how to do this in Fusion 360, and I guess it's least possible steps that we can here. So we're going to hop over to Fusion 360. I'm actually going to throw this wonderful orthographic and isometric drawing of the servo motor off here, and we're going to talk about Fusion. Once you've logged yourself into Fusion, you should have something that looks something like this, and it's going to have the browser, or I guess your file browser on the left-hand side. We're going to refer to the browser within the file over here frequently, and then we're also going to refer to the ribbon occasionally for different things going on at the top of this screen. Now obviously I've got a lot of folders here. I'm in a folder right now called Classroom Resources. I recommend that if you don't have a folder for your project, that you do create a new folder for it. Okay, we're going to hop down and simply, I have a few versions of this we've done before. I'm going to first off save my untitled document because untitled documents are not good. I'm going to call this 9-gram servo, and we're going to save it into Classroom Resources. Let's press save. At this point we can move our file system out of here. We don't need our file browser anymore. We just need our individual part. Now, this part at its core is created by having multiple extrusions. So we're literally going to do this in 4 different sketches that we're going to pull into the third dimension as extrusions. That's our plan. So once we're in here, we're going to start with a sketch to begin with, because everything starts as a 2D sketch and then shifts to a 3D sketch. If we press our sketch button, we are given the option of putting something in one of 3 planes. We can have our horizontal, our vertical, or our auxiliary plane. Those all work in different ways, and none of them are wrong to get started, because the first thing we need is a rectangle. I personally like to draw things from the bottom up, so I'm actually going to start myself in the horizontal plane. Now once we've started a sketch, we're given a whole new menu of tools. It's important that this sketch palette menu is over here on the side. It's what's going to give you your construction lines, which we're going to use. If it's not on the side, you may see it either pinned to the side here like so, or it may have been reduced. All good. Just open it up. Life is good so that we can work with it. We're going to start by using a rectangle, and this is a 2-point rectangle. I'm going to snap it to the center, to the origin, but you don't have to. And I see that my rectangle in this one is going to be an 11.8 by 22.5 millimeter rectangle. I'm going to type in my first number and then press the tab key. Tab key is going to move us over to the other side so that we can type in our second number. And you'll notice that I've got my rectangle, and I know that it works because if I click in the middle of it, I get a solid blue object. That means that this is a closed rectangle and it will be extrudable. We're actually done with this sketch. It's the simplest sketch you're going to do ever, so we're going to finish our sketch at the top here. Now, if I use my view cube at the top here, this is where I can A, go home, or I can also spin myself around to see all aspects of this drawing. I can also click on individual pieces to look at it from a specific angle. In this case, I just want to look at it from home. I'm going to press my extrude button. This is the second button up on the ribbon here, and as you can see, there are help menus, so if something you're not sure about something, float over it and get some explanation. I'm going to click on this rectangle, and I can actually just click and drag if I want, and I could type in the height, which is 22.7, but of note here, you'll notice that there is a menu for this. We've got a menu that's going to say, what are you extruding? Okay, are you extruding it to something instead of a distance, or is it a distance? How far are you extruding it? It also has weird and wacky things like taper angle. If I wanted to make something go at a non-90 degree angle, I absolutely could do that. So we're going to go back and do this properly. Of note, there's a few options at the bottom here, and in this case I can either go new body, I can also go new component for this one. The difference is a body is kind of like an in-progress shape. A component is something a little more finished, it's easier to work with. I like components for this particular assignment. I'm going to type that number in and we're going to get our rectangle. Okay? At this point, we're going to turn around and try to draw the next piece, which is going to be the wings. Okay? Wings on this drawing are these pieces on the side that actually have the attachment point for the screws. To do them, we have to do a sketch that's not in one of these planes, horizontal, vertical, or auxiliary. We want one that's actually what's called an offset plane. So we're going to go up to our construct menu here, and we're actually going to go down to the very first thing, which is the offset plane. Offset plane is going to let us actually start a drawing on the side of our object, but then drag the place we're drawing up into the rectangle. In this case, this is a negative number, but we know that this next plane we're going to draw in starts at 15.9 millimeters. So we're going to put a plane there. Now what you can see is that plane is sitting in the middle of the rectangle. At this point we can start a new sketch. That part's easy. Now our sketch right now, if you notice when I click my line button, I can't snap to anything. Okay? Snapping to things is important in this case. So what I need to do is what's called project. Now you'll see that my project tool is up here on my toolbar. It doesn't have to be. The project tool is actually down here in the create menu, and I've simply used the 3 dots here to pin it to my toolbar. I use this tool all the time, so I have it right there. We're going to project the rectangle so that I have some things. You'll notice that those corners popped up so that we can actually snap to them. Okay? At this point, we can actually draw the rectangle on the side of this. You'll notice that when I draw this rectangle, which is going to be 11.8 millimeters wide and is going to be 4.7 millimeters in depth. Oops, sorry, 11.8 by 4.7. Okay, if you look when I spin my view cube, you'll notice that it's actually being drawn at that offset plane level, which is what we were looking for. In this case, we are going to now draw the rest of the thing. Okay, I'm going to very simply use what's called a construction line. So my next line, I'm going to use this button here that says construction, and I'm going to draw a construction line back because I know in my drawing that this circle starts 2.6 millimeters from the edge, like so. Now if I draw a circle, this one in this case is going to be 2 millimeters deep. It has a radius of 1, therefore a diameter of 2. Excellent. Now these construction lines are not extrudable. And I actually kind of want to extrude the circle. So I'm actually going to click on it and I'm going to turn off the construction line button for it. Okay, I can also turn off construction line now if I don't need any more construction lines. Next tool I'm going to use is the offset tool. And I'm going to offset this line plus or minus. And the width of this line, it's supposed to be a line along the center of a gap that is 1.3 millimeters wide. So we're actually going to do some math in AutoCAD, which is awesome, or in Fusion, which is awesome. So we're going to go 1.3 divided by 2, because we know that we need it 1/2 on each side. We can just type in the equation. We don't even have to do the math in a calculator somewhere. We can go ahead and do that. I'm going to go up here and I'm going to do the same thing. In this case, I'm going to go minus 1.3 divided by 2, and I'm going to end up with both sides. Now at this point, I've got everything I need. I'm just simply going to go ahead and trim away. Trimmed away the wrong side of that one. Okay, I'm going to go trim away the pieces of this that I don't need. Oh, I did trim away the right side. All right, we're good. And when I look and I zoom out, I realize that when I click on this, I get a blue shaded in area of exactly what I want to extrude. Now, we're going to be a little bit resourceful here. Someone might say lazy. And we're actually going to mirror this across the middle. I'm going to put a line right at the center of my rectangle. I'm going to make it a construction line. I don't really need it for anything else. And then we're going to select everything here, minus perhaps the middle section here. Okay, I guess I'm using this kind of selector. And then we're going to go to our Create Tools, and we're going to go Mirror. A little mirror menu is going to pop up. Again, if this menu is hidden somewhere, go find it, open it up. And then we're going to select, I've already selected my objects. It says here 23 selected. And I'm going to go Mirror Line, and I'm going to click across the middle here. Notice that this is just going to mirror that design onto the other side. It is still selectable. If I spin around, I can see that's exactly what I want to do. I finish my sketch. I press my extrude. I simply press these 2 buttons. And this is 2.5 millimeters tall. Excellent. Now I realized when I did that it actually drew on the wrong side. It went down instead of up, which is not good. If I want to go back and fix something I've done in the past, at the bottom of the screen here I have a timeline. Timeline's kind of important. It's actually somewhat useful here because we can actually go back steps and see everything we've done so far in this drawing. In this case, we want to go back and see that this particular extrusion here was wrong. It went the wrong way. So I'm going to right-click it, and I'm going to go Edit Feature. And what you can see is that it actually went downwards 2.5 millimeters. I think my sketch might be upside down here. So I'm going to go put a negative in there, and you're going to see it's going to pop to the other side. It just inverts it. Press OK. And you'll also notice that when I look at this, that I'm in a join feature right now. So I'm actually attaching this to the previous thing that I drew. That's important here. Okay? We're going to jump up and we're going to draw the last pieces here. We're going to create a sketch. This time we don't need to offset it. We can put it right on a face. So we're going to put it on the top face here. And according to my drawing, I've got 2 circles that make up the majority of this next part here. Just let me get those up on my drawing here. And they need 2 construction lines. One that goes right from this side, and you notice that I don't need to project this time. This is already projected because I drew this on the face. Okay, this one's going to be 10.6, and the other construction line is going to be 5.9. Now with those, I can now draw the other circles. I turn my construction line off, I press center, I draw my first one. This one actually is easy. I can literally just snap it to the side wall here, and then I'm going to zoom in for this second one, and I see that it has a radius of 2.5 and therefore a diameter of 5. Those look good, nothing wrong with those. So let's trim away both of these pieces and let's press Finish Sketch. Okay, this piece here, now I know that what I've got, this is all good. You'll notice that for each of my pieces, I'm only doing one sketch. Like I've done 3 sketches for 3 extrusions. Don't over sketch. A lot of students will end up with 11 and 12 of these because they keep adding new sketches. If you need to go edit the sketch we just did, double click on it. Okay, go back and edit the original sketch. Don't make a new one. Very important. Let's try our extrude function. This is nice right now. It's only one piece, so we can drag this up. We can pull it up. How far do we have to go on this guy here? It is 4 millimeters. Okay. And then we're just going to finish this off real easy by putting our last circle on here. This one is the least climactic of all of these because we just have to center it. And it is a diameter of 4.6 and 3.2 millimeters tall. So we'll finish our sketch, we'll extrude, we'll drag it up 3.2 millimeters. Okay, now the last thing that we're going to do for this particular servo to finish the 3D model, I would recommend saving here throughout because Fusion 360, if it crashes, does take your file with you. We're going to color this. We're going to make it the color blue, which is what the actual servo is. We go to our Modify toolbar, we go to Appearance. Under Appearance, we're given some options. Right now, everything is satin steel, I believe, is the correct terminology, steel satin. We're going to actually make this out of plastic because that's what the actual servo we measured was. I'm going to just go ABS white, and I'm just going to drag it onto the servo for right now. You'll notice that I now have 2 options for in this design. I'm actually going to duplicate the ABS white and then edit it. In this case, I'm going to make another one that's going to be ABS blue, and I'm going to give it a nice blue tinge here because that's the color of the actual servo, and press done. Okay, now I can drag this over and make the entire servo blue, which is good, and if I want to make the top piece here, which is usually white, I just have to change this apply to components into apply to faces, and then I can pick individual faces to change my color with. And with that, all said and done, I've got a working servo motor model that we can then turn into a drawing from here. Make sense? This is your introduction to Fusion 360. Hope you enjoyed it.